But in other places, that is very much different. And as you can see in Germany's case, they take it a whole nother level and are willing to go the legal route in regards to certain forms of speech against other citizens. And that's at least for that part of 60 Minutes, or that at least in regards to what that was.
I
LT,
think that,
you got anything for the fans?
I'm glad you asked me. I think that's like a little wild. I mean, I see something on the internet or on Twitter or something, and I retweet it, not knowing that it was like fake news or insulting. I get guilty by association. Like, how do you determine if I knew that that was hateful? Like, if we're trying to say, Kanye West's talk about like Nazis and selling a swastika, I mean, yeah, okay, I know exactly what I'm getting into. But if somebody does something that's like very subtle, with like, how can I word this, like nefarious but very subtle about it, I don't understand how I would be at fault for that. Like, should I have done my due diligence before like retweeting that or reading that?
Who knows? Who knows? It seems it's at least for the American experience, we wonder when it runs into gray area in regards to the vagueness of certain things. Because from my perspective, I kind of asked the same question necessarily when one of the experts said a person can't distinguish if it is true or not, which it's actually a good point necessarily when it comes to certain information, certain things necessarily that not a lot of people are going to be able to disseminate as well as the next person or the most well-read person on the issue. And I can understand the worry, where the worry comes from, where I'm agreement with you, especially is in the enforcement, and it's and the thing is that there is a conversation that is being had in the realms of in the realms of hate speech necessarily, where in the context of the United States we don't go so much as enforcement, but a lot of people in other places necessarily have policed the idea of, how could I say it, in a way it's like what you have the in other words you have the freedom necessarily to critique someone of, I'm guessing, like in other like in a lot of Western countries. But the minute necessarily you start delving into um, racial attacks, necessarily you're delving into territory that not a lot of people like necessarily. And so in the American experience, you get called the N word. A person necessarily cannot be jailed for it, but the the understanding within the social construct of the United States is that you're going to have to deal with the consequences of doing that to the wrong person. And so it's understood in a lot of, at least, I'm not going to say a lot, but it's understood as a balance, in a way, a polite way of putting it. But but the state taking the position of arbiter on it is very foreign to us. Nonetheless, my bad if I'm waffling. LT, you go ahead.
Oh, I got something for you. When it comes to the fact of wanting to take my phone from me, can you go ahead and unshare your screen real quick?
Of course, of course.
This is what I got to say to that. Here we go.
So, as we set out this year to defeat the divisive forces that would take freedom away, I want to say those fighting words for everyone within the sound of my voice to hear and to heed, and especially for you, Mr. Gore.
Hey, yo.
My cold, dead hands.
That's how I feel about that phone stuff right there. From my cold, dead hands.
I respect it. I respect it.